Buckingham Palace has never been far from breaking news.
Prince William and Kate are headed across the pond this weekend for a royal visit to Canada.
But what they just confirmed about Prince Louis is truly heartbreaking.
Well, Prince Louis' vision has emerged of him absolutely beaming.
This revelation came not long after Princess Catherine shared that Prince Louis enjoys collecting conkers during a conversation with Melania Trump. Now, what many thought would be another lighthearted royal update has taken a shocking turn. The news has caught many off guard, and it's far from what they expected about the young prince. But what exactly did the palace confirm? And why is it drawing such strong reactions?
I'm seeing some of the activities here today with the 1851 Trust and what the kids have been doing here. It's really exciting seeing different elements behind I suppose, the racing as well.
Join us as we uncover the heartbreaking news Buckingham Palace has just confirmed about Prince Louis. The heartbreaking news on Prince Louis. The news about Prince Louis has taken many by surprise, not because it's tragic, but because of what it reveals about Prince William and Princess Catherine's bold parenting choice. At just 7 years old, Louis received his very first offer to take on royal patronage. This is a rare honor for someone so young. His parents, like many other members of the royal family, both those who actively carry out royal duties and even some who don't, are involved in various patronages. These are official roles where they support charities, organizations, or causes that matter deeply to them, often helping raise awareness, funding, or public interest. Yet, what William and Catherine chose to do in response has left many both surprised and emotional. Stay tuned to find out. According to reports, Prince William and Princess Kate kindly turned down this request for Prince Louis to become an honorary patron of the World Conker Championships. Since Louis is high in the royal line of succession, he will likely be a royal patron one day, but not just yet. It all started when the World Conker Championships heard that Prince Louis loved collecting conkers. In September, they decided to write to the Prince and Princess of Wales, hoping their young son might become part of their organization. The group is known for raising money to help people with sight loss, and they thought Louis would make the perfect honorary patron. The palace's reply was polite and funny at the same time. They thanked the organizers for the offer, but explained that Prince Louis was busy conker trading on his studies. The clever play on words made everyone smile and showed that, while the invitation was appreciated, Louis was still far too young to take on such a role. William and Kate have always wanted their children to grow up as normally as possible, away from too much public attention. At just 7 years old, Louis's life is meant to be about school, play, and family, not official duties. Still, the offer showed how loved the young prince already is by the public. Louis's love for conkers first became known when his mother mentioned it during a public event. The Princess of Wales shared that their home at Adelaide Cottage had been filled with conkers, in cupboards, under pillows, and even in Louis's bed. He had also been using his toy trucks to carry them around, turning the simple game into endless fun. By October, the conker season was nearly over, and Louis didn't have much time left to add to his growing collection. He also had schoolwork to focus on, as Lambrook School's half-term break was coming up. Around that time, it was also rumored that the Wales family might move into their new home soon. If their new home really is Forest Lodge, Louis will have even more space to search for conkers in the years ahead. For now, though, he can keep enjoying his simple hobby. But then, what left everyone surprised by Prince William and Catherine's decision is that Prince Louis wouldn't have been the first young royal in British history to receive a patronage at such a young age. According to records, royal children in Britain have often started learning about duty and service while they were still very young. Over the years, many princes and princesses have been introduced to public life early, taking small roles or joining their parents at charity events before they were old enough to have duties of their own. These early experiences helped them understand what it means to serve others and to represent the royal family in a kind and respectful way. Prince William and Prince Harry are good examples of this tradition. When they were still teenagers, their parents, Princess Diana and King Charles, who was then the Prince of Wales, began teaching them about public service. Princess Diana often took them with her to hospitals and shelters so that they could see how important kindness and compassion are. William was still in his mid-teens when he began joining his mother on some of these visits, quietly watching how she spoke to people and how she offered comfort. Even though he did not have any formal charity roles at that time, these experiences shaped his understanding of royal work. In his early 20s, William began supporting causes on his own. He became a patron of Centrepoint, a charity that helps homeless young people, and later supported mental health campaigns like Heads Together. His early years beside his mother helped him grow into these roles with empathy and purpose. Prince Harry also began learning about public duty while he was still at school. As a student at Eton, he often accompanied his father to events connected with the environment and young people. King Charles believed that his sons should see what service looked like in practice, so he involved them in the work of the Prince's Trust. By the time Harry reached his early 20s, he was ready to take on responsibilities of his own. In 2006, when he was only 21, he co-founded Sentebale, a charity that helps children in Lesotho who are affected by HIV and poverty. Long before them, King Charles III had also begun royal duties early in life. In 1958, when he was only 9 years old, he was made Prince of Wales and Earl of Chester. These were titles rather than active roles, but they marked the beginning of his public journey. As a teenager in the 60s, Charles started to attend events on behalf of his mother, Queen Elizabeth, and began to show interest in certain causes. He became involved with the Children's Theatre Association and later supported early environmental projects. These experiences helped him develop a lifelong commitment to issues like conservation, architecture, and community service. But surprisingly, it didn't stop with Prince Charles. Prince Edward, now Duke of Edinburgh, had a quieter introduction to royal life. As a schoolboy, he sometimes attended public events with his parents, but he preferred to stay out of the spotlight. After finishing university, his love for theater and television influenced the kind of charities he supported. He began taking on roles connected to the arts and education, using his personal interests to guide his public work. Although his formal patronages came later, his early years observing royal duty helped him. Also, Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, stands out for her strong sense of duty from a young age. In the 60s, when she was still a teenager, Princess Anne began taking part in official engagements. She was only 20 years old in 1970 when she became president of Save the Children, making her one of the youngest royals to ever lead a major charity. Instead of treating the position as symbolic, she became deeply involved. She traveled widely, visiting projects across the world. More than 50 years later, she still holds that same role. Before the modern royal family, young princes and princesses in earlier centuries also had links to public roles, though mostly in name only. In the 19th century, Prince Albert Edward, who later became King Edward VII, was given several honorary positions when he was a boy. He was connected with charitable causes and military regiments, but he did not take on active duties until he reached adulthood. During the Georgian and Victorian eras, it was common for royal children to be given honorary titles instead of real responsibilities. Their names were used to show royal support for institutions, but adults usually handled the actual work. Over time, this approach began to change. The 20th century introduced a new way of preparing young royals for their future. Rather than being given only titles, they were slowly brought into real engagements so they could learn by experience. Watching their parents meet people, visit charities, and support causes taught them what service meant. By the time they were adults, these young royals already understood the purpose of their public roles, and this likely explains why Prince William and Princess Catherine turned down the offer. William has reportedly said that his children are being carefully prepared for proper royal duties in the near future. But how true is this? And what exactly does that preparation involve? Stay tuned, because we're about to reveal some surprising details about the royal children. How royal children are really trained. Prince William and Catherine have always said that their main goal as parents is to give their children a loving and steady home, while they're also preparing them for what lies ahead. They understand that Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis will each have very different paths in life, but they want all three to grow up kind, grounded, and aware of the world around them. For Prince George, their eldest, this balance is the most delicate. As second in line to the throne, Prince George has a future of great responsibility waiting for him. Still, his parents do not want him to feel weighed down by that. Instead, they are slowly helping him understand what his role will mean one day. They want him to see it not as a burden, but as a chance to help people. William and Catherine chose his school carefully to make sure he has a stable and calm environment. George attends Lambrook School near Windsor, along with Charlotte and Louis. This allows the three children to stay together and live a simple routine surrounded by family. Their move from London to Windsor in 2022 also helped make this possible. The family now live at Adelaide Cottage, which gives them more privacy and peace than they had at Kensington Palace. Another thing that makes their parenting stand out is how they control their children's access to technology. It is said that there is a strict smartphone rule for the three children. Their parents believe they're too young for that. Instead, they want their children to spend time outdoors, read, play, and talk to one another face to face. Catherine, who has spent years studying the importance of early childhood, believes that young children learn best through real human connection, not through screens. William also agrees, saying that too much online exposure can make children lose touch with reality. When it comes to George's future education, William and Catherine are already thinking ahead. There has been talk about whether George might go to Eton College, the same school William and Harry attended, or perhaps another one nearby, like Wellington College. What they want most is a school that gives George independence, but still keeps him close to home. William has once said that he wants George to have a world and a job that actually does impact people's lives for the better. This shows that the focus is not only on preparing him to be king one day, but also on helping him become better. For Princess Charlotte, her parents are teaching her something just as important, that her worth does not depend on being the spare. They have learned from the past how hard it can be for younger royal children to find their own place. William and Catherine want Charlotte to feel just as special and valued as George. They always treat their children equally and make sure no one feels left out. Catherine's focus on emotional growth plays a big role here. Through her early years' work, she has said many times that strong emotional bonds in childhood help children build confidence later in life. She applies this to her parenting every day. For Charlotte, it means being loved for who she is, not for her royal title. While her exact future role is still uncertain, William and Catherine want her to have choices, whether she decides to work as a royal or pursue something more independent. For Prince Louis, the youngest of the three, the approach is even more relaxed. William and Catherine are allowing him to simply enjoy being a child. He is still very young, and they want him to explore, play, and find his own interest before any official expectations come his way. Louis's future is the least defined of the three, especially since the royal family is expected to take on fewer working members in the future. Unlike Prince William, Prince Harry and Meghan have chosen a very different path in raising their children. Their style of parenting comes from personal experience and their wish to create a more private, emotionally safe life. Harry has spoken many times about how the lack of affection and communication during his own childhood affected him. He once said that he wants to train his children with love and affection, so that they never feel the same kind of distance he experienced. He and Meghan have also decided to keep their children, Archie and Lilibet, out of the public eye as much as possible. They have not followed traditional royal ways, where children often appear at official events from a young age. Instead, they have chosen privacy, giving their kids a more ordinary life in California. This gives Archie and Lilibet the space to grow up freely, away from the pressures of royal titles. Harry has said that this life in the US is in line with what his mother, Princess Diana, would have wanted: a peaceful, open life where her grandchildren could just be themselves. Prince Harry has also been clear about wanting to end what he calls the cycle of pain and suffering in the royal family. He believes that many royals were raised with too much formality and too little emotional support, and he wants to change that for his own children. Harry often describes Archie as a happy, lively boy who loves to joke, and they both encourage his playful side. They also give their children the freedom to express their feelings, instead of teaching them to hide behind royal manners. The couple are also careful about technology. Meghan has spoken publicly about the dangers of social media and how it can harm children's self-esteem. She and Harry have decided to delay any exposure to online platforms for as long as possible. Instead, they focus on simple family activities, reading together, playing outdoors, and sharing time without screens. Their goal is to help their children grow up connected to real life, not the digital world. Education is another area where they show flexibility. Although Archie and Lilibet are being raised in the US, reports suggest that Harry might one day consider schooling in the UK to help them connect with their heritage. But for now, what matters most to them is that their children learn in a better environment. Because Archie and Lilibet are far down the line of succession, they will likely live more independent lives. Although the royal children are still very much in training, they're already making remarkable strides at their young age, especially Princess Charlotte and Prince George, whose quiet impact has left many people speechless. Let's take a closer look at what they've already achieved. The surprising impact of royal children at a young age. Even though the royal children are still very young, they have made some mind-blowing impacts, starting with Princess Charlotte. From the moment she was born in May 2015, she made history in a way that quietly changed the British monarchy. Charlotte became the first British princess who would not be overtaken by a younger brother in the line of succession. This happened because of a law passed in 2013, the Succession to the Crown Act, which ended the old rule that always gave preference to male heirs. Before that, if a boy was born after a girl, he would automatically move ahead of her in the royal line, no matter their ages. Charlotte's birth was the first time this new rule was truly applied, and it showed that the monarchy was beginning to reflect fairness and gender equality. Even as a newborn, she represented a modern shift in royal history. As she grew older, Charlotte's influence began to spread in ways no one expected. Her presence created what the media later called the Charlotte effect. Every time she appeared in public, the clothes she wore would sell out within hours. The first time this happened was after Charlotte's first official portrait in 2015, where she wore a simple knitted cardigan by the Spanish brand Irulea. The photo went viral, and soon after, the cardigan completely sold out. The brand's website even crashed due to the sudden traffic. The same thing happened again in 2018 when she was photographed on her first day of nursery school, wearing a red coat from Amaya Kids and a pink scarf. Within minutes, parents from around the world started buying the same coat for their children. Later, when Charlotte wore a blue floral dress to the Easter service in 2023, the dress became the most searched-for children's outfit online that week. Retailers began producing similar versions, and they too sold out almost immediately. This strong influence did not happen by accident. It came largely from her mother, Princess Catherine, whose own fashion choices have shaped global trends for years. Catherine is known for her classic yet simple style, and she has passed that same taste to her daughter. This has made Princess Charlotte one of the youngest style icons in the world. But there's more to Charlotte's influence, something unexpected that has left even the UK stunned. Charlotte's fashion power also has an impressive financial side. Experts have estimated that her overall influence on the British economy could be worth more than 3 billion British pounds. This includes the sales of clothing, accessories, and other children's items inspired by her style. When you compare this to her brother George's estimated worth of 2.4 billion pounds and her younger brother Louis's worth of 1 billion pounds, it shows just how powerful her image has become. Each time her photo is shared online, it helps boost small businesses, increases brand recognition, and promotes British products. It is fascinating that such a young child can make such a large economic difference simply by being herself. Transitioning to her older brother, Prince George, the story becomes equally interesting. Born in July 2013, George is second in line to the throne, right after his father, Prince William. From birth, he has carried a special meaning for the monarchy because he represents its future. His public appearances, whether it's his birthday portraits, school photos, or royal events, always draw global attention. Every time he steps out with his family, the world gets a glimpse of the monarchy's next generation. Even though he is still very young, George already displays confidence in public. During the late Queen Elizabeth's Platinum Jubilee and later at King Charles's coronation, George carried himself with surprising maturity. These moments showed how his parents have quietly prepared him for the responsibilities that will come his way in the future. Just like his sister, George also has his own version of influence known as the George effect. This began when he was only a toddler. One of the most famous examples came in 2016, when he met former US President Barack Obama at Kensington Palace. George appeared in photos wearing a light blue bathrobe, with his initials embroidered on it. The robe was from a small brand called My First Years. After the photo spread online, the robe sold out completely in less than an hour, and the company's sales increased dramatically. Another instance happened on his first day of school in 2017, when he was seen in a neat blue school uniform from Thomas's Battersea. The simple outfit led to a surge in sales of similar uniforms across the country. What stood out most was how George's style reflected the kind of upbringing his parents wanted for him. Royal, but still down to earth. Surprisingly, beyond the guidance of their parents, King Charles, their grandfather, is also said to be playing a quiet yet powerful role in their lives. Some reports suggest a growing bond between the king and the three young royals. But how deep is this connection, and what kind of influence is he really having on them? Keep watching, because what we're about to reveal shows a side of King Charles many never expected. What many don't know about King Charles's relationship with his grandchildren. King Charles has always been seen as a grandfather who enjoys the simple personal parts of family life. Even before he became king, when he was still the Prince of Wales, he was known for being playful with his grandchildren. Reports said that when Charles visited Prince William and Catherine's children, he often got down on the floor to play with them. A report from once said that his grandchildren adore him and that he loves reading Harry Potter stories to them, even using different voices for each character. These small details show how much effort he puts into being a loving and present grandfather. As he grew older and took on more public roles, Charles began to connect his sense of family with his larger responsibilities. When his fifth grandchild, Princess Lilibet, was born in June 2021, he gave a speech that showed how deeply he thought about the future. While visiting a factory, he said that moments like the birth of a grandchild remind him of the legacy we bequeath to our grandchildren. This short comment showed how his personal life and public duties come together. It was clear that his love for his grandchildren also motivates his lifelong work in protecting nature and promoting sustainability. He sees his work as something that will benefit not just the country, but also his own family in the years to come. Among his grandchildren, many people believe that King Charles shares a very special bond with Prince Louis, the youngest child of Prince William and Catherine. Some reports say that Charles dotes on Louis, describing him as cheerful and full of life. Others say that Louis reminds Charles of his own beloved great-uncle, Lord Louis Mountbatten, who played a major role in his upbringing. During the Platinum Jubilee celebrations, there was a moment that touched many hearts. Little Louis sat on his grandfather's lap, chatting and laughing as the crowd cheered. However, not all of Charles's relationships with his grandchildren are this close. While he spends time with Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, his bond with Prince Harry's children, Prince Archie, and Princess Lilibet has been more distant. The main reason is distance, since Harry and Meghan now live in California. There have also been family tensions that made things more complicated. Reports have said that the king is heartbroken over this distance and that he hardly knows his younger grandchildren. Friends of the monarch have shared that it remains one of his greatest sadnesses. Yet, there is still hope. Some recent reports suggest that a private meeting between the king and Prince Harry could open the door to a reunion with Archie and Lilibet. This shows that, deep down, Charles still wishes to have a normal, loving connection with all of his grandchildren. Queen Camilla has also spoken warmly about her role as a grandmother. She often says that being around her grandchildren keeps her young and helps her learn new things. In an interview, she once laughed about how they teach her how to use social media. Reading is another area where Camilla's love shines through. She often speaks about how much she enjoys reading aloud to her grandchildren. During one Christmas interview, she mentioned that she had chosen books for each of them. One granddaughter loved Philip Pullman, so she bought La Belle Sauvage, while the twin boys were introduced to The Lord of the Rings. Camilla's grandchildren also played special roles during the coronation of King Charles and Queen Camilla. Her 5 teenage grandchildren, Lola, Eliza, Gus, Louis, and Freddie, were given important parts in the ceremony. Despite past difficulties within the family, Camilla has managed to build a comfortable and caring relationship with both her own grandchildren and those of Charles. Over time, the younger royals have grown used to her presence, and she has become a steady part of their lives. Reports have noted that her grandchildren help her understand what young people are thinking, which she often says with affection. King Charles and Queen Camilla have shown that being a grandparent is more than just being royal. It means spending time with their grandchildren, listening to them, teaching them, and also learning from them. Their influence doesn't come from titles. Charles links his role as a grandfather with his passion for nature and leaving a good legacy. Camilla shows her love through reading play and simple acts. Together, they show what modern royal grandparents can be: loving, involved, and thoughtful. Prince Louis to take on a patronage? Share your opinions with us in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, click the following video on your screen, and you will enjoy it.